There was a time when he said no, again and again, to the idea of playing himself. Fear gripped him in ways no script ever had, yet the man the world knows as Nicolas Cage has built a career out of confronting fear head-on. Behind the explosive performances and eccentric public persona lies a deeply human story of loneliness, identity, fortune, collapse, and redemption. His journey is not merely about Hollywood success, it is about survival. From emotional fractures in childhood to financial ruin and artistic rebirth, Cage's life reveals what happens when fame magnifies both brilliance and vulnerability. Early shadows and a fractured home. Nicolas Cage was born Nicholas Kim Coppola on January 7, 1964, in Long Beach, into a family rich in artistry, yet strained by emotional turmoil. His father, a literature professor, valued intellect and discipline. His mother, a dancer and choreographer, battled fragile mental health that cast uncertainty over their household. Cage later described childhood as quiet and tense, pierced by distant sobs and unspoken pain. When his parents divorced during his adolescence, the emotional divide deepened. He grew up navigating two worlds, logic and sensitivity, absorbing both into a personality shaped by longing and introspection. The weight of the Coppola name attending Beverly Hills High School, Cage faced relentless teasing over his famous surname. As the nephew of acclaimed director Francis Ford Coppola, expectations shadowed him. Classmates assumed his path would be handed to him, diminishing his desire to earn recognition independently. The ridicule stung deeply. Determined to escape the burden of inherited identity, he sought reinvention. He experimented with aliases, leather jackets, and dark glasses, constructing a protective shell. But beneath the surface, the need was not to hide, but to be seen for who he truly was, separate from legacy and assumption. Reinventing himself as Nicolas Cage, the transformation from Coppola to Cage was deliberate and symbolic. Inspired by avant-garde composer John Cage and Marvel's resilient hero Luke Cage, he adopted a name representing artistic freedom and strength. The change was more than cosmetic, it was emancipation. By relinquishing a powerful surname, he chose uncertainty over privilege. Acting became his sanctuary, influenced by icons like James Dean and Bruce Lee, whose raw authenticity captivated him. At 15, Cage discovered that performance could transform pain into power. Every silent wound became emotional fuel, shaping a style that felt less performed and more confessed. Early struggles in Hollywood. Cage's introduction to Hollywood was humbling. Small roles in films like Fast Times at Ridgemont High offered little recognition, and some scenes were cut entirely. He refused to lean on family influence, even when cast in Rumble Fish, directed by his uncle. Determined to prove himself, he immersed fully in craft. For Birdie, he endured physical discomfort to portray trauma authentically. Hollywood labeled him eccentric, yet his commitment was unwavering. Rejection refined his resilience. Slowly, casting directors began noticing the intensity that distinguished him from conventional leading men. Breakthrough and critical recognition. The late 1980s and early 1990s brought defining roles. In Moonstruck, Cage's passionate performance electrified audiences, signaling his arrival. Then came Wild at Heart, a daring collaboration that cemented his reputation for fearless unpredictability. But it was Leaving Las Vegas that transformed his career. Portraying a self-destructive alcoholic with haunting vulnerability, Cage blurred the line between actor and character. The role earned him an Academy Award and critical reverence, yet amid applause, he felt hollow, questioning whether triumph masked a deeper emotional cost, blockbuster fame and soaring fortune. After his Oscar win, Cage became a box office titan. Action spectacles like The Rock, Con Air, and Face Slash Off propelled him into global stardom. He commanded salaries reportedly reaching $20 million per film. Later, National Treasure reinforced his commercial dominance, earning hundreds of millions worldwide. Wealth accumulated rapidly, with estimates placing his fortune near $150 million at its peak. Yet relentless filming schedules and public scrutiny intensified exhaustion. The louder the applause grew, the more distant inner peace seemed to become. Excess, eccentricity, and collapse, Cage's spending reflected grandiosity equal to his roles. He purchased lavish estates, including a Gothic mansion in New Orleans, a historic castle in England, and even a private island in the Bahamas. His collections ranged from rare comics to exotic cars and dinosaur skulls. But the 2008 global financial crisis struck hard. Property values plummeted, and mounting tax debts reportedly exceeded millions. Assets were auctioned. Homes vanished. The empire dissolved with startling speed. Refusing bankruptcy, Cage chose relentless work instead. Pride gave way to practicality as he accepted numerous roles, determined to repay debts and reclaim stability. Reinvention through independent cinema. In the aftermath of financial ruin, Cage rediscovered artistic sincerity. Independent filmmakers recognized depth beneath tabloid headlines. Performances in Joe, Mandy, and Pig revealed a quieter, introspective force. No longer chasing blockbusters, he gravitated toward layered characters marked by grief and resilience. Critics praised this phase as a renaissance. Freed from the pressure of spectacle, Cage seemed grounded, channeling lived hardship into subtle expression. The intensity remained, but it matured, becoming reflective rather than explosive, intimate rather than theatrical. Personal growth and new meaning beyond film sets, Cage's perspective shifted. Relationships evolved, particularly with his eldest son, fostering reconciliation and shared creativity. He quietly supported humanitarian and environmental causes, avoiding publicity. Recent projects like Dream Scenario further display self-awareness, even humor about his own mythology. Daily life now centers on simple rituals: coffee, music, reflection, and time near the ocean. After decades of turbulence, he speaks less about fame and more about gratitude. The hunger for validation has softened into acceptance. Peace, once elusive, feels attainable not through wealth or awards, but through balance. Conclusion: redemption in the aftermath. Nicolas Cage's life reads like cinema: dramatic rises, devastating falls, and improbable comebacks. Yet its power lies in authenticity. He confronted inherited expectation, embraced reinvention, soared to astonishing heights, and endured public collapse. Rather than surrendering to ruin, he worked tirelessly, transforming debt into discipline and humiliation into humility. His story reminds us that identity is not fixed by birth or broken by failure. True resilience emerges when one faces fear and continues forward. In the fading echo of applause, Cage discovered something greater than stardom: the enduring strength to rise, rebuild, and finally find meaning beyond the spotlight.